Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. And we got a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask questions, 323-870-3857. And tonight, we're going to talk about Ryan Garcia. He is out again with an injury. We'll tell you all about it. So his fight coming up is no more. We'll also preview the upcoming Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring fight. But first, we're going to get started with DAZN, Mikey Garcia versus Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin was a 25-1 underdog. All right. He upset Mikey Garcia by the scores of 95-95, overruled 97-93 twice. Sandor Martin, to me, I was watching this fight, was just a sharper fighter. He was quicker. He just outboxed Garcia really for the full 10 rounds, I thought. I thought he did really well. Now, obviously, he didn't win every round, but, I mean, I thought he would just look better. I mean, he really did. I thought Mikey looked slow. I thought the time outside the ring looking like it caught up with him. It's been close to 20 months since he's been out of the ring, and it really showed. And here's another stat for you. We just looked up before the show. Garcia has fought 3 times in 3 years. What's the point of that? I mean, 3 times in 3 years.
He's a part-time fighter.
Yeah. I mean, he's on like the Gary Russell plan, you know? Sure. I mean, really, like, you know, you're not going to stay sharp. You're not going to look good. And you even talked about, was it the Jesse Vargas fight?
Yeah,
he didn't look good in that fight either.
That was a close fight.
Yeah. And so he comes back here and, you know, he didn't look great. He should have walked right through Sandor Martin. Listen, Sandor Martin is a good fighter. He's very good. He's a very technical fighter. Really good. Really fast. He shouldn't have beat Mikey Garcia. No way.
I actually had the fight a draw. I thought it was pretty close. I thought for the first 5 rounds, I didn't think that Martin was throwing a ton of punches. I thought that his back was up against the ropes and he was in the corner. Neither guy landed a lot of shots, but I just thought Mikey was the aggressor in the first 5 rounds. But once again, when we saw a southpaw who had front foot control, Mikey had a hard time getting the jab off, and we know that Mikey is a guy that really utilizes that jab to set up his offense. I mean, most fighters do, but Mikey, does it so much so because he'll never throw a risky punch like a lead right hand or a lead left hook. He's a very comprehensive guy, and if he can't get that jab off, then his offense is basically, it's non-existent, right? And in this fight, neither guy was really, effective with their jab. But the thing about Martin was, like I said, he created the punching angles for himself. He kept moving. He was feinting. He was throwing sneaky lead left hands down the pike. And, I think from rounds 6 through 10, I thought those were his rounds. That's where he really stepped it up. He was stepping in with some power shots. He was going to the body very well there. And Mikey really slowed down in the second half of this fight. His volume was way down. Neither guy threw a ton of punches, but Martin was just great with his movement. And, he was landing a lot of power shots, right? And, he was accurate and he was landing clean. And Garcia was just really having a hard time getting off. And, the activity had to have hurt him because, like I said, he faded badly down the stretch. He really slowed up. And I don't like him at 145 pounds. He looked soft. He looked pudgy. Like you said, his timing was really off, and I don't think it serves him any purpose to fight 3 times in 3 years. If he's going to continue, he's got to fight more. And a lot of people are just saying, why doesn't he retire? Because it doesn't seem like his heart's in it. He fought in a very uninspired manner with no sense of urgency. I love Robert Garcia as a trainer, but I don't think that he lit that fire under him. He needed to tell him, hey man, you got to start stepping it up because you could be losing here. I guess they just felt because they were, they were the A side. They were the house fighter. They were on home territory, that they were just going to get the decision regardless of what they did. But it came back to bite them right in the ass in the end, didn't it?
Hey, Babe, let me ask you a question, because you brought up a really good point. Neither fighter was able to get their jab going. Garcia really, a lot of what he does is based on that jab. What did Martin do to take away that jab from him?
The front foot control, because every time Garcia tried to jab, he was jabbing. He kept hitting Martin's lead hand. So he needed to create a better angle for himself so he can get past that hand. But he couldn't get past that. He couldn't get past Martin's lead hand. And he was like straight, moving in straight lines. He wasn't moving in angles. If you notice, Martin kept moving. Martin looked like shades of Usyk, dare I say, in that second half of the fight.
Did you notice it? Because I was fast forwarding during the, like I said, I was just watching the fight. I didn't see any of the corner work. But did you notice, were they giving him any instruction on to jab at an angle, or to come in on an angle to utilize that jab or anything like that?
They were telling him to jab over Martin's hand. So they're telling him to jab, to touch it and go over the top of it. But how could you go over the top of it if the guy wouldn't stand straight in front of you? So he did a bad job, creating punching angles for himself. He
kept tapping his, their hands came together. He kept tapping it. You know who else does that? Or he used to do it back in the day. It was Rigondeaux. If you watch old Rigondeaux fights, he's always tapping that lead hand. It's almost like it takes that thing away. So the only thing you have is to shoot with your other hand, and then all of a sudden he just kind of makes you a one-handed fighter. It takes away a good portion of your game like that.
Yeah. But I mean, if a guy's going to keep tapping you, then you got to step out, either outside or inside. You gotta get past it. You can't keep letting him tap your lead hand, right? You got to either knock it down and come over the top, or you got to step around it and shoot your jab from an angle. You can't, shoot your jab straight into his jab hand.
Yeah. Notorious said, Mikey made about $6 million in his last two fights. I think that's probably combined or whatever. Yeah. And listen, I mean, you've had a good run. It almost looks like listen, when you're fighting 3 times, he was off. Not only that, but he was off for that contract thing, wasn't it, with Top Rank or something like that, for like 2 years or something?
Yeah, he's had a lot of issues with inactivity throughout the course of his career.
Yeah, so he had so 2 years, about 2 years of inactivity. Then he comes back and he's got some good wins over Bronner, over Easter. And now he's back on the Garcia plan where he's fighting, or the Gary Russell plan where he's fighting once a year. It's almost like, do you think his heart doesn't look in it? Because
no, he doesn't. His head's not in the game right now.
Yeah. And Corey in the chat just said it. He looked out of shape, and he didn't look great. And if you think about it, Lee, if you had that much time off, you should at least came in shape.
Yeah.
And there's ways to come in. If he wanted to weigh 147 or whatever he wanted to weigh, at 145, listen, he's a small guy. He could have came in ripped up. He could have came in shape, but he didn't. He looked kind of pudgy, for 145, you shouldn't be 145, 5'6", 145 and out of shape.
He doesn't have a big frame. I don't think he can carry it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So overall, what was your opinion of Sandor Martin? Is he a new player in the game? Was a star born last night?
He's got a pesky style, but he's not a big puncher and doesn't throw a lot of punches either. So I'm not sure he's going to set the world on fire. I just think Mikey Garcia was off. I don't want to take anything away from him. He fought a good fight, but I don't see anything that really stands out. Garcia was able in spots to pin him up against the ropes and pin him in the corner. And as the fight wore on, he started fighting more in the center of the ring. He didn't allow himself to stay on the ropes long. Right. But in the beginning, he did. I can see a guy. I could see like a relentless pressure fighter breaking him down. the right style, I think would could hurt him. Like that Ajit, I think it was who was that guy that he lost to?
I know who you're talking about.
Ajit was
yeah.
I think he's a pressure fighter as well. He's that type of style that would give him problems, right? So that type of style, I think, would always give him problems.
Do you think we're heading for a rematch here, or you think he just moves forward?
No, they'll have a rematch. They'll have a rematch.
Because it wasn't that great of a fight. I got to be honest with you. I mean, it wasn't a great fight.
Very uneventful fight.
Yeah. I think, what was it? I think it was Centurion said, would you buy a tank Mikey Garcia pay-per-view?
No.
Really?
Would I buy it?
Yeah.
No, not at this point. No.
Wow. I would like to see Sandor Martin get a bigger fight, a bigger money fight. But if he's going to fight Garcia again, I mean, again, a fight nobody wants to see. I think you just chalk it up. And I think if you're Mikey Garcia, you chalk it up and you move forward. You decide what you want to do. You decide whether you want to continue this whole thing or you just want to, you know what I mean? It doesn't make to me, this rematch doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
None. Regis Prograis would wash Martin. Yeah, probably.
Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor.
Any one of them. I think that was the best part. I think that was the best part going into this fight, that he was overlooking this guy.
Yeah.
That's all he talked about was Josh Taylor. Regis Prograis. He wants these guys in order, blah, blah, blah. Turns out you couldn't even take Martin out.
Yeah.
And again, the type of shape he came in at, what are you thinking, man? Like, really, is your head in this game? And you could say all you want. Well, he wasn't motivated for a guy, Sandor Martin, who, nobody'd ever heard of. I get it. But look, I mean, if you're not motivated when a guy's trying to take your head off, I don't know what motivates you. And then you got millions of dollars on the table. If you beat this guy with Regis Prograis or, Josh Taylor or somebody like that, you got tons of,
Well, the guy that beat Martin, Anthony Ajit, he got knocked out by Raleigh in 7 rounds, and Raleigh was 135 and Ajit was like 140. He was over the limit. So that just goes to show you, you know what I mean? And that's taken nothing away from, Martin, but I just think Garcia was really flat. He was off.
Yeah. And I think, if they do rematch, I mean, it was a close fight. It was close enough to say, hey, you'd probably give the nod to Garcia the next time. But again, where does he go from here? You know what I mean?
I scored the fight a draw, but like I said, the 3rd round I thought was a swing round. So it could easily have been, 96, 94 for Martin. I mean, I don't think Garcia won. I mean, the best that you could come up with is maybe a draw, but that's about it.
Yeah. Corey says that Mikey can win the rematch. Well, yeah, he can win the rematch, but what's the point of a rematch here? I mean, really, what are you going to prove by beating him? You know what I mean? Nothing. I mean, go forward.
Yeah. Well, I guess you gotta clear up the blemish before you can get a bigger fight, because people are, people are gonna say, well, if you can't beat this guy, then why should I fight you?
Yeah. See, Lion said pointless fights. He's right. This is a pointless fight. It's a pointless rematch to me anyway.
Yeah.
Pointless rematch to me. Let's talk about the zone announcers who were all over Mikey Garcia in the first, 6-7 rounds. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, hey, I think he might have done it. I think Martin might have. They're almost like unlistenable. I mean, it really is. They're just awful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Jessica McCaskill did a pretty decent job, but I just don't like Chris Mannix and I don't like Sergio Mora. Todd Grisham's okay. I mean, he's not that bad.
He's like the play-by-play guy.
He doesn't do a bad job, but
I think he's good.
Sergio Mora is just so irritating, and Chris Mannix.
Chris Mannix to me is irritating. You just want to smack him every time he talks.
I just don't know, man. They're just irritating, and I don't know. Like they try to control the narrative of the fight, and a lot of things they say, it's just not happening. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I think that's
Very
a good way
irritating.
to put it.
They're saying things that just like Sergio Morris says stupid things. Like, so Chris Manis goes, yeah, he's kind of twitchy a little bit. Looks kind of nervous, right? And so then Todd Grisham goes, does that mean he's a little bit nervous? And then Sergio goes, no, that just means he's twitchy. I mean, usually when you're twitchy, you're nervous, right? I mean, it's the same thing. I mean,
you got a tick, Yeah,
right?
You're nervous.
He was a little nervous in the beginning of the fight because it was, caught up in the moment. It's okay to say that.
Tony Yayo said that Ellie Sekbak has seen a ton of fights, said it was a robbery. Has nothing to do with Sekbak stays over at the Garcia's house or anything like that.
Ellie Sekbak is a disgrace to journalism. He shouldn't even be allowed. He shouldn't even be allowed in fight to even cover fights.
Oh man,
he sucks.
I didn't even go that far. I just said it was a silly thing to say, man.
He's trash.
How?
He's trash.
Oh my God.
You don't have to say it. I'll say it for you.
Oh my God. Beeb. Jesus. Beeb's in a mood tonight, man. I tell you what.
I don't like Ellie Sekbak.
You know what? That's crazy. He's got nothing but nice things to say about you.
Yeah, well, he can keep those nice things and stick them where the sun don't shine. Reporting. Get the fuck out of here.
Like Sekbak reporting.
Yeah,
Devin Haney and Teofimo got into a real heated argument, both on air and off air at the DAZN at this whole thing, at this fight. B, what were your thoughts on this? I mean, they were going back and forth and talking about wanting to fight each other right after the next fight.
Listen,
do you think this fight comes off?
Somebody's got to fight Devin Haney. I mean, he can't just. Devin Haney is pulling up on dudes now, and he's just like getting up in dudes' faces. Bill Haney's going on podcasts. He's calling out fighters too. These guys are doing everything in their power to get the fights done. Eddie Hearn, I believe him. When Eddie Hearn wants to get a fight done, he does get the fight done when he wants to. So I believe Eddie Hearn. So these guys just got to step up. They got to fight him. Someone's got to fight this guy, whether it's Jojo Diaz, whether it's Teofimo Lopez, whether it's anybody. Ryan Garcia, somebody fucking fight this guy.
It's funny, man, because listen, I've been saying it. I said it for a long time that I thought Devin Haney was the class of that division. I think you have to go with Teofimo now, just because he's unified the belts. He's beat the guy, the Lomachenko. I think you kind of got to go there, right?
He's gone on a hiatus.
Where's he at?
Already talking about moving up to 140.
But we
can only stay down to 135 for one more fight. We can't make 135 anymore. And this is a guy that was
self-inflicted. That hiatus was self-inflicted, my man.
And then
self-inflicted.
And then also, right? He's kind of a head case, no?
He doesn't seem like he's all there. But we were talking about this. We were talking about this before the show, though. I said when we were talking about John Jones, we were talking about Michael Jordan, and you got anybody at that kind of level who does it, that, you know what I mean? Who's like special.
But you
got to have something missing.
I understand that, but when the bell rings, you got to put that behind you. I don't. He's already said in the Nakatani fight there was something on his mind. That's why his performance was the way it was. Right? They were using that as an excuse, like his mind was on his issues with his wife and stuff like that.
I remember that. Yeah.
But Ron Hopkins used to say there's always something, right? But you got to be able to put it behind you once the bell rings. I'm not so sure this kid can do that.
Centurion Son said Lopez is a big boy. Hey, when they were together, man, Haney looked like the much bigger guy. He looked a lot bigger than Lopez. I was actually surprised at how big he looked. He was a lot bigger. And I thought that Lopez was a lot bigger than Lomachenko when they fought, which he was. I couldn't imagine Haney in there with Lomachenko. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regis Prograis is another one. So he was hoping to fight Mikey Garcia. And when that fight went by the wayside and the decision got announced, he tweeted out one word, F. You can imagine what the word, what the word was.
He would have boxed.
Amazing.
He would have boxed Mikey Garcia's ears off. That dude can fight, man. I thought he beat Josh Taylor. I thought he beat Josh Taylor, but that's
I had Josh
opinion.
Taylor in that fight, razor thin fight though. 115, 130. It was a razor thin fight.
Yeah.
Razor thin. But
I think you gotta say Josh Taylor is the best at 140 based off of accomplishments. But I think on any given day, I think Prograis could beat Josh Taylor, in my opinion.
I don't think Taylor wants to fight Prograis again. Put it
no,
that way.
he won't. He won't.
He doesn't want to fight him again.
There's no way.
You know, where has Prograis been though? You know what I mean? Like he's looking for a fight too.
Yeah, he was on that Triller card.
That's right. Yeah. You know,
a while back.
Where are we? You know, like all these guys, we got all the, I don't understand. Like we have all this talent here, man. All this talent in this one little division, and nobody's fighting anybody. I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know?
Crazy, man.
I just don't get it. All right. ESPN, Emmanuel Navarrete versus Joet Gonzalez. Navarrete beats Gonzalez by the scores of 118 to 110, 116, 112 twice. The eye of Joet Gonzalez looked awful. All right. It looked awful. Should the fight have been stopped sooner, Beeb?
You know what the problem was? That cut was under the eye, so it wasn't, it wasn't impairing his vision, so that was a good thing. The problem is Joet Gonzalez keeps his hands like right on his face, and he even said this. He goes, because of my stance, he was hitting me, and my glove was going into my eye. It was making it worse because my glove was rubbing on my eye. I don't like guys that have that ear muff type or that those their gloves pinned to their face like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was catching a lot of shots on the gloves, but Navarrete hit so hard. He like forces his punches through the guard sometimes, right? And Gonzalez was landing a couple good right hands. His jab was a little bit inconsistent, but Navarrete was the guy who was really the aggressor in this fight. Some of these rounds were hard fought. Sometimes we talk about, a guy could win wide on the scorecards, but the rounds are hard fought that he wins. Like Gonzalez would have a moment or two in every round, but Navarrete, I thought, was just doing the more consistent work. He was the more aggressive. He threw more punches, and he was just ripping the body. He was landing good uppercuts as well. I just think Navarrete is like the Energizer Bunny, and like Tim Bradley says, the only way to stop this guy is you gotta pin him to the canvas. You gotta knock him out, because he was rocking Joet Gonzalez backward. He's pushing him backward, But like I said, Gonzalez is a tough kid. He was a tough kid. He would land a good right hand, but Navarrete would just walk through it, And you could see those like. You could hear Navarrete's body shots. Like when Navarrete rips to the body, it's like he's taking like a whip and just like slapping it off a wall. You could like tap, tap, tap. You can hear it. You know what I mean? Like he's a very powerful, strong guy, Navarrete, and he's in phenomenal shape. And he's so unorthodox. The way he just dips and comes up with those wild shots up from underneath. He drops his hand down below his waist, and he takes his hand, out of sight of his opponent, and then he just comes up out of nowhere and lands those uppercuts from the floor, basically. So it was a very entertaining fight, but I just didn't think it was as close as Bernardo Asuda was saying. Andre Wood scored it 117 and 111, just like I did. The two of the judges had it closer. One judge had it 118 and 110, and Bernardo was like ripping that scorecard. I could see it 118, 110 because one of the rounds that I did give Gonzalez was kind of a swing round. So 117, 111, I think was a reasonable score. The two judges had 116 and 112. I just don't give it to a guy who's trying hard, And the thing is this too: when a guy does better than expected, sometimes he gets the benefit of the doubt in close rounds because of that,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I noticed that, and I think that could have happened in the Garcia fight too, taking nothing away from Martin. But I didn't think that fight was as wide as two of those judges had it. I thought it was a 96-94 fight or even a draw. So that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I think that, what about, listen, man, Joey Gonzalez has been in a couple of big fights. He was in a fight with Shakur Stevenson, I believe,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
He was in a fight now. He seems to come up short in big fights. That being said, I mean, he's fighting two really good fighters. Okay?
He's got a
fighting really two good
fan-friendly
fighters.
style. I think his fan-friendly style makes him entertaining and makes people and promoters want to put him on. You know what
Let me address something real quick. Two things. Number one, guys, hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. If you guys are in the chat, if you guys are watching right now, all I'm asking you to do is hit the like button. That's it. And Corey Lee, I've seen you on hold about 50 times. I got you, but we got a show to do here. I'll get to you when I get to you. We love you, Corey, but come on. So yeah, man. Where does Joey Gonzalez go from here? Does he have? You're a really good judge at this. Okay, so. Does he have a title shot, a title run in him? I mean, can he win the title? I mean, does he have that in him?
No, he's got limitations. He's got defensive liabilities, and he takes too much punishment. And I don't like the hand positioning like this. Like I said, guys that have their hands like this, they catch shots on the gloves and the gloves get pushed into their face. But he busts up too. I don't think he's going to win a title. Unfortunately, no. I'd like to see him win a title because he's the type of guy that gives everything he's got. He works hard. You could tell he really tries and works hard in the gym, but he just doesn't have that it factor. There's no quality that he possesses that could separate him from the top of the pack. Like Navarrete, what makes him so dynamic is he's a hard puncher. He's in phenomenal shape. And people think that he's wild, but he's just very unorthodox. He throws crazy feints and throws punches from weird angles. He's a hard guy to deal with because he will not stop. And he fights a fast-paced fight, throws a ton of punches. This guy is a tough out for anybody, Navarrete. Anybody.
How does he do when he steps up and weight?
Navarrete?
Yeah. I was talking to Chakal. Chakal thinks he's too small.
He's 5'7". He could go to 130, but I wouldn't like him at 135.
What about 130? Does he do anything at 130?
He'd be decent at 130. Yeah, he'd be decent at 130.
Does his power? I mean, because he doesn't. I mean, he's not that one-shot guy, man.
But he's one of those clubbing power guys.
Yeah,
where he hits guys to the body and his uppercut, he can get guys out. And you got to understand too, when he moves up to 130. He'll have more muscle and more beef on him. That could possibly add to his power as well. He's a thin guy, so I don't like him at 135. I like him. He could go to 130 though.
You think he could do damage at 130?
I think he'd be formidable at 130. I don't think he'd go to 135. But Chakal's right. He doesn't have a huge frame. He's a thin guy. He's very narrow.
Yeah.
There
you go. All right, let's go ahead and let's go to the phones here. I know Corey's jonesing to get on here. Corey Lee, you're live.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Corey.
Y'all having
what's up, VIP?
Y'all having a great show, man.
What's up, VIP?
He's the only one here that can call his shot and say, I want to get on, and like 2 minutes later, I put him on.
Put you on speed dial, Daddy.
Corey, is it true that you picked Sandor Martin to upset Mikey Garcia?
No, I didn't, but I do want to say that I did think really hard about it because I was watching Ness break down the odds on the fight. And he was like, if you put down $100, you can win back $1,000 just by picking Martin. And I was like, damn. Let me go check the background of this guy. And I didn't see anything on his resume that would give Mikey any scares. So I think this was 100% based on Mikey's work ethic and his self. I think this had a lot to do with Mikey, not a whole lot to do with Martin. Okay, Martin was going to come in like a professional, like he was supposed to do. But Mikey has that thudding power where when he sits down on his punches, he gets rid of you like he did Sergey Lipinets, and smaller guys. I feel like, he could have did his thing against, like a Martin. So I thought, that he would, I thought he would dispose of Martin, if Mikey Garcia the rematch will show a lot. That's what I'm gonna say. But I really truly feel like if Mikey Garcia is in the A-class shape that we all know him to be in, he stops Martin. But it's one of those things. He's got to dig deep, you guys, and only he can do this. This is all on Mikey. You know what I mean? Robert Garcia was smiling. His whole camp was Big G was smiling. I didn't get any of the smiles after the fight. I didn't think anybody should be smiling after the fight. Mikey Garcia let his fans down. He was in his hometown crowd. You know what I mean? And it was all these fireworks going off. Everybody having a great time. And Mikey just hit the bed, man.
He really did.
He really did, man. And and you're a professional. People come to see you. Over 8,000 people. Right now it's probably hard to get money out there where they're at. You know what I mean? And Mikey's saying he gives back so much. Why don't you get the fans a good performance, dude? The fuck you been doing the whole training camp, dude? You came in the fucking weigh-in flabby as shit. The fight is at 145, dude. You're a 140-pound fighter, dude. Some of these fucking professionals got to be held accountable, you guys. What the fuck, man? When do we come up with a weight division at 145?
I thought you were gonna do the Tupac line. The Tupac line of hit him up at
140.
Yeah, he got to go back down to 140. You reminded me of Tupac. Remember when Tupac?
Yeah, but the fight was contracted at 140.
Remember Tupac did that line at would hit him up. He goes looking all flabby like Larry Holmes and shit. Remember that?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna bust out some Tupac, hit him up.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey, you gotta understand, Mikey's a professional, but like you gotta have a different level of professionalism to make weight and stuff like that. Like Mikey knew what it was, man. I think he just pulled his A-class card, by switching weights at the last minute. It was at 140, and I believe it changed to 145. That right there was a red flag, man. That right there was a red flag right there.
He's
right. Can't make 140.
He's right.
Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck you been doing the whole time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, these professionals, guys, at the end of the day, these guys are prize fighters. You know what I mean? That is part of your, prize fighting. You have to make weight, unless you're a heavyweight. And even the heavyweights need to start making weight. Like, Tyson Fury's going to have to be in a whole lot better shape than that if he thinks he's going to be using. Yeah, B. I'm back, baby. What's happening?
Don't worry about that, baby? Man. Don't worry about that. Usyk's like a snack. Usyk's like a snack to Fury, baby. He's like a snack.
Yeah, I think Fury's a little big. I think Fury might be a little bit too big, but I don't know. I thought AJ was going to be too big for him too, so who knows?
Let me tell you this before I head out, you guys. I've been telling you guys Usyk's been the best for over 3-4 years now. I didn't get to go on the post-fight show after the fight, man, but I really feel like Usyk did a hell of a job. I told you what I knew what he could do this whole time. I've been telling you guys show after show for years how good Usyk finally was. And I finally think it all came to fruition that night of the fight. The rematch goes the same exact way, if not worse. Wow. I think he could have stopped Joshua at that last and final round. And I really, truly believe Usyk's seen a lot in Joshua that's going to open his eyes to a lot more. You want to talk about Joshua gets time to work on his craft and to get better to beat Usyk. Usyk has time to work on his craft to get better to beat Joshua. That's my call for Elite Boxing. You know what it is.
Hey, Corey, just real quick, man. Do you think that Usyk beats AJ in the rematch? Oh, he just hung up. I was gonna say, does he think that Usyk beats AJ in a rematch like Tony Bellew beat David Haye? As bad as that? I mean, do you think it's as bad as that, or do you think it's like? All right, let's go to Robert, ringside Robert, 530. You're live.
Fucking rat.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
What's up, Robbie?
What's happening, Robert?
Oh, fucking weasel.
Oh,
well,
stop, Dave. Come on.
Joe, don't start your business again.
This business. Guys, hit the like button if you're in the chat. Let's get those likes up.
I have a real problem. Guys, I have a real problem with part-time fighters. If you're going to get a paycheck by stepping into the ring, You need to be more dedicated to your sport. Mikey had that 2.5-year layoff when he was in the dispute with Bob Arum and Top Rank. And like you guys said, 3 fights in 3 years? I mean, of course, I'm old-fashioned. I believe a fighter should be as active as possible. So I will never approve of a 1 year, a one-time-a-year fighter. That's just something I will never approve of. And Mikey came in completely out of shape last night. I thought he lost the fight. I scored it 96-94 for Martin. And, what can I say? Mikey needs to decide, does he want to continue his boxing career? Does he want to be dedicated to it? Or has he made too much money and he doesn't care about it? He's got to answer these questions, because with the way that he picks out his fights, it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, he's accomplished a lot in his career. He's won 4 world titles in 4 different weight classes. So you would think a guy who's won 40 fights and won 4 titles would be more dedicated to the sport he's supposed to love. But he sure don't act like it.
Robert, what do you I mean, again, man, he's fought 3 times in the last 3 years, and it sounds like he wants a rematch with this guy again, with Sandor Martin. Is there a point to that rematch? I mean, really, like, if he's going to fight again, I mean, he's a big name guy. Why are you going to fight this guy again? To me, it makes no sense.
That's about as meaningful as Robbie having that rematch with the guy that threw him in the locker back in '63.
Oh, stop it! 63.
Eric, the only thing that rematch would accomplish is what would happen if they had a rematch and Martin beat him again. Then Martin could say, okay, I beat this guy twice. Basically, who's next?
Yeah, that's a big deal for Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, like I said, man. There's nothing holding Garcia back from fighting. Nothing.
I mean, it's about as meaningful as you having a rematch with that girl that kicked sand in your face at the beach back in '67. I mean, who wants to see that?
What is going on, Beeb? Stop it.
I'm really tired. I'm really tired of these guys at 135 or 140, basically figuring out ways to avoid one another. I mean, my God, let's get some real fights on, people. I mean,
Robbie,
what's the point of sitting by? Yeah.
Did you know that Wallen and White have a rematch clause? What do you think about all these rematch clauses?
Well, first of all, I think, and I forget who said it yesterday, but somebody pointed out somewhere yesterday, I heard, that rematch clauses are useless because what you end up doing is you end up delaying other boxing business. Number one, I think Wallen has a good shot of winning that fight.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be a pushover for White. I mean, White probably thinks he's going to walk in there, win the fight, and then get his guaranteed title shot. Well, what happens if Wallen wins? Well, Wallen gets to rematch Fury, and the trouble that Wallen gave Fury the first time they fought. Tyson Fury ended up getting 47 stitches.
He laced him with the gloves, though. He laced him with the laces on the gloves. That wasn't a clean shot.
Right, but the point is, he still created damage.
That was like when Iron Mike Sharp had that cast. He used to lace people with the cast back in WWE.
Mike Sharp, yeah. He always had that cast on. Remember that?
Yeah, that was an Iron Mike Sharp move. That wasn't legal.
Combat Sports Media says, why would fans be invested in Mikey's future matchups if he can't get past Sandor? A rematch needs to happen. Listen, every time you lose a fight, a rematch doesn't need to happen. People are going to be interested in Mikey Garcia anyway. Mikey Garcia is a much bigger name than Sandor anyway. He can regroup from this. He can move forward and get big money fights. However, if he loses to Sandor again, those big money fights, are they still there?
No.
And,
not
if he loses to him twice.
I don't know if you saw the interview with Eddie Hearn last night, Eric, when he was talking about the whole Devin Haney situation, he flat out said, if Mikey doesn't look good, then he has to go back to the back of the line because he's got other people that need those fights.
I agree, man. I don't like this. Certain fighters, you have to beat them twice, but they only have to beat you once. That's BS. I don't like that, man.
Yeah, no, no. And when I heard about the Wallen-White rematch, I'm like, what's the point? There's no title at stake. I mean, the only thing that's at stake on the 30th is if White wins or Wallen wins, they get a guaranteed title shot because they become the mandatory.
No, I don't believe I don't believe that's
person.
accurate. I don't believe. Okay, a couple things
They
here.
don't
Number one,
All
I
right.
don't know that that's accurate. Is that accurate that Wallen gets a title shot?
Well, not that I know
If
of,
he
because
beats White,
Dillian White,
I'm
they only
White
mentioned
gets a title
Dillian White.
shot if he wins.
But Robbie, here's the thing. This is what Eddie Hearn
Okay.
said. This is what Eddie Hearn said. Because Dillian White has a WBC interim heavyweight title, that's why there's a
Yes.
rematch clause. I mean, cut the crap.
Come on, stop it.
Cut the
Oh,
Real
really?
quick,
Okay.
real quick. Luis Reyes, thank you so much, man. He's a new subscriber from Boston. Beep. He's from
Hey, way to go.
Boston. There you go. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. And Mario Figueroa, thank you so much. He says that Hulk Hogan always had a rematch clause, and I agree with him. He did. Always had a rematch clause.
What you gonna do, brother, when the Bieber Maniacs run wild on you, daddy?
That's right.
Oh, brother.
All right, Robert,
Well,
real quick.
speaking of real fun,
Real quick. Who do
All
you
right.
got next week? Shakur or do you got Herring?
no, I got Simplify all the way, man.
Yeah,
man. I'm
Well,
going
time you
with-
knew you
I'm
were
going
talking
with
Do you
Darren,
once
just,
in a while.
Robert, do you actually just like losing every week or do you want to win some?
Every
I
time
don't
me and
understand.
Robbie have the same pick, it's good. It's good karma.
Every time you and Robbie have the same pick,
Yeah.
it's almost,
win.
and I have the opposite pick, you guys almost
Robbie picked
always
Teo.
lose.
Robbie picked Teo just like the Beeb. What happened?
He picked him right after you, by the way.
No, he
By the
didn't.
way, yes, he did.
No, he
so
didn't.
so then you copied off Robert. Then is
No,
what you're
Mrs.
saying.
Herrick told me that Mrs.
When
Herrick
are
told
you
me.
talking to Mrs. Herrick?
Once in a while, I give her a call. But that's between. But anyways, Mrs. Herrick said that Robbie picked Teo.
Is that right?
We were playing online bingo.
certainly did.
We were playing online bingo one day, and in the chat, she said it to me.
You were playing online bingo.
Online
with Mrs.
bingo.
Herrick.
Well, you know
What's the
what?
matter with you?
I'm getting a little disappointed with Mr. Lopez too and all his business. I
Well,
mean,
those are self.
if you're going to confront, if you're going to confront a guy like Devin Haney, then put pen to paper and make your threats real.
He can't.
Don't put on a display.
He can't. There's no
Don't put on a
contract.
display,
There's no contract.
well, my point is, Eric, after he disposes of Cambosis, then he needs to put pen to paper and quit getting on TV and making a fool out of himself.
Oh, that's terrible. That's harsh.
Robbie,
Listen,
let me
man,
just say-
that whole thing with Teofimo is all self-imposed. The fact that whole COVID thing, he could have wrecked it. He could have been fighting him this December. He could have been fighting this December.
Robbie.
Yep.
If you have
Yeah.
any stimulus, do you have any stimulus check money left? Because Herring is a plus 500. Even if you put $20 on Herring, that's a huge score for you. That's like $100. It's $100, Robbie.
That's about as much as I would put on Herring, $20.
No, I'll probably put 100.
Yeah, well, you know what? That sounds like a reasonable investment.
How much you put on
might
Herring?
do that.
I'll probably
Beep.
put 100 on Herring.
For real? Do me a favor. Just put that 100 in an envelope and send it to me, all right? Because he ain't winning that fight.
I'm mad. I'm mad that I didn't
Eric,
bet
what do you-
Fury with the stoppage proposition. I just bet this kid bet me 100 straight up. I took Fury. He took Wilder. I'm so mad. I tried to call my brother when he was down Seabrook to put the bet in. I wanted to bet Fury with the stoppage proposition.
Seabrook.
Now, Eric, what are you going to do
Seabrook's
next?
a
What are you going to
great
do?
place.
What are you going to do next Sunday? What are you going to do next Sunday, Eric? When Stevenson loses?
I'm not going to do anything because it ain't going to happen. You guys are living in
Hoorah!
fantasy land if you think for what. And listen, my dad was a
Hoorah!
Marine, all right? I'm telling you, Herring ain't winning this fight.
This guy's a Marine.
I don't care.
Marine.
He's an Olympian, son.
He's a Marine.
He ain't winning this
Hey,
fight.
Semper Fi, brother. That's who's going to win. So there you go.
I did 2 tours overseas, baby.
2 tours.
2, not 1.
Shakur did Olympic tours, son.
5'10", 72-inch reach.
And did you see, you talk about tough quarters. Did you see like the quarters he had to live in while he was over there? It was insane. Shakur.
You know how it is back in,
You know
how
tough.
these things are.
That's tough, man.
Please.
All right, Robert, man, we're going to put you on hold.
Weasel.
All right, see ya.
Why do you call him a weasel, man? What's wrong with you?
Wait, he just slithers around here when he calls in?
Slither. What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Maron. My goodness, Beeb. What's the matter with you?
Hey, soldier, combat soldier, pick up your weapon and follow me. Airborne infantry. Yeah, Semper
We
Fi,
are
baby.
Marine Corps infantry. Do you ever listen to those like while you're working out or anything?
No, I have nightmares of that shit. I was in the military for 3 years. Don't you remember?
No, I know, but I'm wondering, like they're really like,
They are.
they help you.
I will
really
say,
do.
when
They help you get through it.
When the drill sergeants used to freaking like do the cadence, I used to pump me up. When I used to do those like 30-mile hikes.
Yeah.
Hey, soldier, combat soldier, pick up your weapon and follow me. Airborne infantry. I used to love
All
that
right,
shit.
before we get to the upcoming fights here, a little message from our friends from Manscaped here. Do you know what's spookier than seeing a black cat on Halloween? It's shaving with anything other than Manscaped. When it comes to below-the-waist grooming, there is no need to carve your pumpkins this Halloween because Manscaped is here to upgrade your grooming experience. Go from a bite-sized candy bar to a king-size candy bar and join the 2 million men worldwide by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code Ringside Reporter. Make sure to use the code Ringside Reporter when you order anything from there, and you'll get 20% off plus free shipping, and plus it kicks back a little bit to us too, which is nice. Manscaped is here to save the day and make sure you're smelling fresh with their new refined body wash. Fellas, the ladies love their signature scent, and it will scare away the vampires. Unlock your confidence with the Performance Package 4.0. Inside, you'll find the holy grail of men's grooming items. They've made it easy for you to upgrade your grooming routine. It's a full moon out and the werewolf is howling. It's time to tackle that problem with the Lawnmower 4.0. Their finely tuned products feature a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming incidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is easily the greatest trimmer on the planet. Did I mention it's waterproof also? This trimmer is a shower essential. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker, a total game changer for the men's hygiene arsenal. The Weed Whacker is a nose, ear, and hair trimmer that provides proprietary skin-safe technology that helps with nicks and snags. Seal the deal with Manscaped's liquid formulations. Their Crop Preserver deodorant and Crop Reviver toner will make sure your pumpkins stay fresh. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers, which I love. I can't get enough of those things. I love those things. They're so comfortable. And the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. If you're looking like Wolverine and haven't cut your nails recently, be sure to look into the Shears 2.0 Nail Kit. They have a bunch of other life-changing products on their website, so be sure to check them out. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Ringside Reporter at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code Ringside Reporter at manscaped.com. There you go. I don't know, I just ordered some body wash from them. They came out with like some new products. They had like a body wash and there's some deodorant. I think it's coming out in November. Everything we've gotten from them, everything I've ordered, it's all been really good. It really has been, man. Yes. So if you haven't tried them, definitely try them out, man. What are you waiting for? Exactly. It's always the good stuff over there, man, for sure. All right, let's talk about let's see here. What do we got? The upcoming fights. Upcoming fights next. All right, let me find them here. All right. October 22nd in Montreal on ESPN Plus. Oscar Rivas versus Ryan Rozicki. 12 rounds for the vacant WBC Bridgerweight title.
Oh, Jesus.
For real. Bridgerweight, right? Bridgerweight. Why are we doing it? Why? I don't understand this. Why are we doing Bridgerweight?
I don't like it.
It's just dumb, man. Stop it. I'm not watching it. You know what? I'm not watching it just because. I'm drawing a line in the sand, babe. That's how I'm living now.
I don't like it.
Sebastian Bouchard versus Sergio Ortega, 8 rounds welterweights on the undercard there. Not great, guys. Not great. Let's see here. October 23rd in Atlanta on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Dale from Chi-Town, thank you so much. He said Lois the Landscaper. There you go, Beeb.
She's the best.
Jesus. And we're going to break this fight down in a minute. Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson, 12 rounds for Herring's WBO junior lightweight title. Xander Zayas on the undercard versus Dan Carpenti, 8 rounds junior middleweights. Nico Walsh Ali versus James Wesley II. There you go. 4 rounds middleweights. He's a heavyweight, isn't he?
Say that one more time.
Nico Walsh. He's a heavyweight, right?
Thought it was a light heavyweight.
They got him down as middleweights here. I don't know. I don't know. Who cares? And then Evan Holyfield also on the undercard here versus Charles Stanford. I'd like to see if hopefully they show that. Hopefully they show that fight, or we can catch it on ESPN Plus or something like that. And that's it for next weekend. And then the weekend following, you got the Dylan White Otto Wallin fight. And then after that, we got another big one. We got the Canelo fight. So some big fights coming up each weekend. Beeb, let's break this fight down real quick. This is the Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson. OddsShark has multiple sports books on there. So if you go there, you can see odds on multiple sports books. Beeb, Shakur is a minus 1100 to win this fight. I'll be honest with you. I think it should be more. Jamel Herring is not getting past Shakur Stevenson. This is not a close fight, and I'll be surprised if Herring wins 2 rounds in this fight. Herring has got 0 chance to win this fight. 0. And I'm basing that off a couple things. Shakur, I don't believe Shakur is going to be able to hurt Herring. Herring's a big guy. I don't believe Shakur is going to be able to hurt Herring. Shakur doesn't hurt many people. Shakur is largely like a point fighter. You know what I mean? He's able to hit you and not get hit. And the reason he doesn't have many knockouts, and you can probably attest to this too, he doesn't look like he puts weight behind his punches.
Doesn't sit down on his shots.
He doesn't sit down on his shots at all.
Nope.
He's very point fighting. You know, he's very much of a point fighter where he hits you and he doesn't get hit. And when he's out of range, he's out of range. He's out of range for everything, okay? But he's sharp. He's fast. And I think that I think there's going to be times in this fight where Herring is going to be confused as to what's happening to him. I think there's times in this fight where Herring is just going to be overwhelmed by the speed. I don't think that there's anything that Herring can bring to the table that can stop Shakur Stevenson from beating him that night.
Here's the problem with Shakur Stevenson. Nobody likes to get hit, but some fighters seem to be overly concerned with it, right? He's never been pressed in a fight by a bigger, stronger guy. And Herring is a really, really good boxer. He's got an outstanding jab, right? And he boxes well from the outside, and he's got a real solid inside game too. He knows how to throw those short uppercuts and short left hooks inside and goes to the body well. So Herring is going to pressure Stevenson, right? And he's going to be pumping that jab out in his face over time. Stevenson likes to go in and out. He's kind of a little bit of an ambush guy, and he throws quick flurries and he goes back out, right? But if Stevenson fights too much on the back foot and allows Herring to control the pace, because Herring does throw a lot of punches, right? He's very aggressive, but he's very versatile too. And he's not as slow as people think he is. Like the speed disparity is not going to be that great here. He's got pretty quick hands and pretty quick feet himself. Now, is Shakur faster? Yeah, Shakur is faster because he's throwing his punches faster because he's not sitting down on them, right? So if Stevenson is allowed to keep coming forward, putting that physical and mental pressure on Stevenson, if Herring is allowed to do that, then eventually Stevenson's going to wear down. He can't move the whole fight. Can't. At some point, he's going to have to sit down and get his respect, right? And he's never had to do that in any fight before because he just was never in there with a guy that is this big, this strong, and can hit he can hit pretty hard too. This was a guy that was up at 135 at one point, and he's a really big 130 pounder, and he's a strong 130 pounder, and he can grind it out on the inside very well. So I think at some point this fight's going to turn into a war of attrition, and I'm not so sure Stevenson is going to be ready for that, right? Because Herring's been in a few of those war of attritions in his career, and he's passed them, right? He's got more experience than Stevenson, right? So I think Herring is going to wear Stevenson down in this fight. I think he's going to grind out a unanimous decision. He could get a late stoppage here because of the pressure, because of his size, because of his versatility of not only being able to fight on the outside, but fighting on the inside too. Stevenson doesn't like it on the inside. He doesn't stay very long in the pocket. He's throwing punches, and before he can even finish a combination, his feet are halfway out the door. I don't think that's going to work against a guy like Herring. Herring's going to make him pay. Herring's gonna put some adversity on Stevenson, and I want to see how he reacts to it, because I have never seen Stevenson react to adversity. I've seen Herring react to adversity and overcome it, not only in boxing but in life. All right, so I'm going to go with Herring here. I think Herring is going to grind out a real gritty, hard-fought unanimous decision, and I think he's going to trap Stevenson in corners and on the ropes. And I think his inside game is actually going to play a big factor in this fight. His uppercuts and his body shots on the inside are gonna play a big factor, So I like Stevenson here by unanimous decision. I think he's going to pull the upset.
I think that there's no way Herring is trapping anybody in a corner on the ropes. He's not trapping anybody anywhere. His footwork is nowhere near Stevenson's footwork. His foot speed is nowhere near Stevenson's foot speed.
It's comparable.
I don't think it is at all. I don't think it's hand speed.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete, no question. Listen, no question. And I tell you what, his last fight really impressed me. It really did. And you know what? I wasn't real impressed with Herring, but after his last couple of fights, I've kind of gotten on that bandwagon. But you're talking about somebody special. I think that Shakur Stevenson really is somebody special.
I don't know, man. He hasn't looked good in a while to me.
I think that he's got faster hands, faster feet. My only complaint, and I know it's your complaint as well, is he doesn't sit down on those punches. And I know you have more complaints about it. I'm talking about for myself.
No,
my only complaint with him is that he doesn't sit down on those punches.
Let me ask you this. If he can't hit Herring with anything to stop him in his tracks and get his respect, and Herring keeps coming forward, do you not think that a fast-paced fight with him being forced back, not him going back on his own volition, but him being forced back, you don't think that's going to tire him out in the later rounds? You think he can move the whole fight? Do you think he's as physically strong as Herring when they wrap up in a clinch and Herring walks him back into a corner or walks him back to the ropes and then releases the clinch and then just starts ripping the body shots? How do you think he's gonna handle that? Herring is undefeated at 130, folks. I don't want to hear about his 2 losses at 135. He is undefeated at 130. It's a new record at 130. We're erasing the 135.
I think it's a big difference. I really do think it's a big difference.
New record. He's got a new record.
I will give you that. I think it is a big difference when you move weight classes. That being said, again, man, he's not going to be able to catch up with Shakur. And let me tell you what, Shakur may not have knockout power
in 4 years.
He may not have knockout power with the one hitter, the one hitter shot type power. But let me tell you what, those punches aren't easy, and pretty soon, if that was the case, then everybody would just walk him down and walk right through him and then just, do what you're saying Herring's going to do to him.
Yeah.
He hits hard. Okay. Nobody likes to get hit. He can hit. He may not have that knockout, that one punch knockout type of power, but he can hit, and he will definitely get his respect. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yuta Ito is a very good fighter. Very good fighter. Kendo is a good fighter, right? There's Frampton's a good fighter. You know, he's been in there with some decent guys, man.
Yes, for sure.
Been in there with some decent guys.
I would say though that Shakur is the best guy he's ever been in with.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is a guy that has 24 fights, right? How many fights does Shakur have? 16. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. And, you know, like I said, man, it's, you know, you can say Shakur, you know, Shakur's been to the Olympics, but, you know, it's not like Herring hasn't been, you know, didn't have a good amateur career either. You know, he knows what it's like. He's fought a lot of different styles as well. But, yeah, I don't know. What is everybody picking for this? I mean, you know, I'd be curious where the chat is. Yeah, let's do a poll. Do a poll and see how many people are picking Herring versus Shakur. The other thing I want to talk about, Beeb, the minus 1100 on Herring.
I'm seeing 650. I don't know.
I'm seeing like on OddsShark. If you go to OddsShark, they'll show you a bunch of different sports books. My bookie, I think, has them at like minus 930. Okay. If that's the case, I think you got to put a little bit of money on Herring, right?
Yeah, you got to put Herring.
I think you have to, even if you think Shakur is going to win. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that's you know, you got to put something on him. Not a whole lot. I wouldn't put a whole lot because you don't want to lose a whole lot. But I mean, yeah.
Christine Lopez knows both of them because she's in the amateur system. She knows Shakur. She works for USA Boxing. She's picking Herring too.
Yeah,
that gives me a lot of confidence when Christine picks someone. Christine's in line. Got Robbie and Christine. Now, if Teddy Atlas picks Herring, then I'm changing my pick.
You're changing your pick, son.
Yeah. I don't. Teddy Atlas jinxes all of us all the time when he makes.
He picked Wilder. He picked Wilder. Wilder lost.
Stevenson win by KO.
What's that?
Stevenson win by KO.
No, it'll be a unanimous decision. It'll be like 118, somewhere in there, 10-2 fight, maybe. I don't, but yeah, that's how I see the fight going down. I see it like a 10-2 fight.
Yeah, most people see it your way. I mean, you have the consensus pick here, so I'm the outlier. Let's see with the chat. But see, I have a very heavy influence on the chat because they respect my picks. They respect my picks very, very well, like very greatly, I should say.
I think D Styles said it best. It's going to be a boring 12-round decision. I think he's right.
He hasn't been right lately. He's in a little slump.
Stop it.
He's been in a slump lately.
Oh, stop it.
Even the great ones have you know, they fall into a slump. Remember The Natural? Remember that movie, The Natural? When Roy Hobbs was in that little, and then
he hit the lights out at the end. I remember that part.
Yeah, that was 10 years later, but it doesn't matter.
It was 10 years later. Nacho going for he says 8-4. Herring wins. Anybody wants any action on this?
Nacho's picking Herring.
Anybody wants any action on a pie bet? It's a done deal. I will do it. No questions asked. I will take Shakur with no questions asked. That's how confident I am in this pick. This is a slam dunk. I would have it the 4-star lock of the year.
I gotta do the poll again. I fucked up. I forgot. I put Herring by decision twice. Herring by KO twice. Fuck. I fucked up the poll. I'm sorry. My fault, guys. I'm gonna do it over again.
What you guys doing?
My fault. Thank you, Nacho, for correcting me.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Georgie 508, you're live.
Hey, yo, what's happening, people?
Georgie.
Listen, I feel a little sick, though, so the energy's kind of low. Bear with me.
Okay, Georgie?
Listen, Mikey, he's on the fucking slide. I was listening to the
that's going out on a limb.
Commentary. I was listening to the commentary right during the fight, and they do put it fucking perfectly for everybody out there to understand. He said that Mikey is pretty much a 1-2. Mikey really ain't got no left hook. Mikey ain't got no uppercut. Mikey is the best thing that he do is that 1-2. And when that 1-2 don't work, my nigga just don't got plan B. That's the bottom line with Mikey. Now, moving on from that shit, let's go to Shakur and Haney. And Haney, that's the young cats out there, right? That's the two young cats, the prospect, the guys that they out there being pushed by the forces that be. Do you guys think that any of these two guys will ever lose a decision to a regular fighter?
I don't know, Georgie. That's a tough question to ask, my friend, or to answer, I should say, because boxing is so unpredictable sometimes.
True that. That's fact. But if I gotta go the way I think, you know how I think these motherfuckers out there push who they want to push. I will go with fucking Shakur beating anybody. You know, until they fight a big name. The Stevenson, the same shit. You know, I mean, the fuck is the other name? Shakur Stevenson and
Jamal Herring.
What's the other name?
Jamal Herring.
No. The young cat that I say that they will not lose. Shakur
Stevenson.
and fucking Haney.
Haney, okay.
Yeah, in Haney. Those two, they've been pushed, baby. They've been pushed big time. They got that machine behind them. So anybody thinking that these people going to lose on top of the station, baby, it's not going to.
Try to tell them.
That's never going to happen.
Try to tell them, Georgie.
That's not going to happen until 2 or 3 years from now that these people get their money back from them.
Try to tell you, Georgie.
They're going to fight many, and beat them all by decision or knockout, whatever the fuck it is. So I don't even know what make any sense here. Who's you say going to win?
Stevenson's going to win.
Herring?
I like Herring.
What his record?
Like 25-2.
Who he lost to be?
The one loss that I know is the Dennis Shafikov guy at lightweight. Pretty tough guy. This was a guy that I thought beat what's his name there? Robert Easter. I thought he beat Robert Easter, but they gave the decision to Robert.
He didn't beat Robert. There's no way he beat Robert Easter. Robert Easter's from Ohio. There's no way you get a decision.
They actually threw him out of after that fight. After that fight, they made him leave Ohio.
Son.
After that fight, they made him leave Ohio.
Nobody's making Robert Easter is Ohio, son.
I heard
UC's the number 2 ranked team in the nation, son. University of Cincinnati, son.
I saw
number 2, son.
I saw Robert Easter at South Station down in South Boston the other day. They threw him out of Ohio.
What's South Station?
It's in South Boston. They threw him out of Ohio. They threw him out of Ohio. He's living in Boston now.
Stop it. Nobody lives in Boston.
Rocky Marciano from Brockton, Mass.
Listen,
he's not even from Boston.
Listen, guys, I gotta go, but before I go, I want to tell you something, bro. Beeb, you remember way back when I started coming into the show at the beginning? I want to give a testimony because I had a fucking fallout with TVB, and I got kicked out of there. And you guys welcome me here. I will always appreciate that.
Wow, that means a lot when you just said that, man. Wow, that was very nice for you to say that.
Absolutely.
But you're back
year over here.
But TBV let you back though. TBV let you back, right?
They did. It's always redemption, baby. It's always redemption. That's the most beautiful part. A lot of people say they never fall.
Ness has a much softer heart now than he used to.
It's even better.
Ness has a much softer heart than he used to. I said Ness has a much softer heart than he used to.
He baby, time heals all wound, and time makes people grow.
I think people grow.
You know?
I mean, Robbie still needs a lot of work.
I just want to put that out there.
Jesus.
So that I just want you guys to keep growing at the boxing channel, because you guys are my second favorite. I'm going to say TVB is my favorite, because pretty much that's when I met you. That's when I started interacting with you and other people here in the boxing community on YouTube. But
Yeah.
you guys got a fucking big place in my heart.
I
You guys
appreciate
do.
that.
We appreciate that, man.
Everybody out there, support the channel, donate. I gotta go, and I love you guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Georgie.
That was nice, man.
That was very good. Very good.
Very nice to hear that.
Area code 773. You're live.
Do you guys remember when Mikey Garcia was in talks to fight Manny Pacquiao?
Kevin?
Yeah, I do. I love this kid. Yes, I do. I do, Kevin.
And that would have, whoever won that fight, they'd have been talking about these guys are the best in the world. They're the two best in the weight class. And that's because they don't have to prove themselves. They don't have to fight the up-and-comers and earn their spot. It's like once you get to a position, a big name, pretty much just stay at the top, and you gotta just fight the same people over and over. You don't gotta keep proving yourself. And that's just a prime example with Mikey Garcia. He's like goes in suspense, so now he's gonna fight Pacquiao, and it's like he's never have to earn a spot and fight with some up-and-comers that are worthy of give him a cam. But this time it's cherry picking gone wrong. It's a cherry pick gone wrong. And this is the thing with Mikey Garcia. He's always seems like he's one shot away from a title shot. You want to win away. And hopefully now he'll get put back down where he belongs as a B level, maybe even a C level fighter who needs to earn his keep, earn his spot, not getting these big opportunities because he doesn't deserve them. Am I right?
I would agree with that. I don't think Mikey Garcia deserves a lot of, but what does he, and like I said, I mean, I think though, he could take this loss and just move forward. He doesn't even have to fight this guy again and still get a big fight. That's what I think. Because he's Mikey Garcia,
I mean,
is it fair? No.
And it's the same thing with Andy Ruiz. He's always, let's put him in there with Usyk. Yeah, let's do that. Put him in there with Usyk. Like, what? We got so many fighters coming up trying to get their spot, get their respect, and it's just like just Andy Ruiz keeps recycling the same fighters. It's absurd.
You know who I would like to say? I'd like to see Andy Ruiz and that Frank Sanchez. Is it Frank Sanchez, right?
Yeah, that would be a great fight.
I think that's a good fight. I think that's a solid fight, man.
But that guy's still a little green, though. He doesn't have that many fights.
No, but he knows how to fight.
He does.
You know what I mean? His defense is solid. He
went to camp with Joshua. He was in Joshua's camp for that fight. I called him a Benedict Arnold, man, because
that's what I want to see.
I was teasing him. We interviewed him on D-Styles channel once, and I said, you when you were helping Joshua beat your fellow Mexican Andy Ruiz, I said, what was your friends saying in your family? They call you Benedict Arnold? He started laughing. It was hilarious. One of my best interviews.
Did you know who Benedict Arnold was?
Yeah. Kevin, who do you like next week? Do you like Stevenson or you like Herring?
Stevenson.
Told you.
I didn't like Herring. I think I saw one fight of his recently. He really didn't look good.
Wow.
I'll go with Stevenson.
Wow, taking a dump all over Herring, man. The guy served his country. He ain't giving him no credit. That's cold-blooded, boy.
It's not right.
It's cold-blooded. All right, Kevin, we're going to get running. 818, you're live.
Hey, man, how's it going? As for the Stevenson and Shakur fight, the Herring and Shakur fight, I think Herring has to just rush him, man. He got to try to bulldoze right through him. If not, he's just gonna get outboxed. And then if he does take the risk of going forward and trying to rush him, he might get stopped. And I think he might get stopped late if he does. But his best chance is just trying to go forward, cut off the ring, and just outwork him.
See, this guy on the phone right now, this is a perfect example of a guy who knows what he's talking about, Beeb. I want you to listen to him, educate you.
Can't stop.
I want you to listen to him, educate you, because I failed trying to educate you. This guy on the phone knows what he's talking about, Beeb.
You see how Herring looked against the great Carl Frampton in his last fight?
Carl Frampton was washed, son.
No,
you know he was washed.
Look at the chat. Look at the poll. Look at the poll narrowing.
Here's what the poll says.
Look at the poll.
Let me tell you what. Nobody.
It's 50-50 right now. It's
nobody
50-50
is betting me on
in the
this fight.
poll. This is a good sign.
Nobody is betting me on this fight. Nobody.
This is a good sign.
It's because, you know, Shakur has the big amateur pedigree, man, so it's hard to go against that, you know?
Yep.
And he looks pretty good. He just kind of looks lazy, and he does look lazy, and he does kind of seem to lack a killer instinct because he's scared of letting his hands go, even when he's obviously outmatched the guy. His last guy, he could have got rid of that guy. He just, you know, pressed the gas a little bit, and he was scared to do it. And if Herring could rush him and try to hurt him, he might even try to get him out of there, you know? Or he might even get him out of there. But this is a long shot. I would favor the fight probably 60% Shakur, maybe even 70.
I would say like 90 Shakur. I don't think there's any way he gets it. Who cares what that poll says, son?
Stevenson by KO is at 0%. Herring by KO is at 18%.
None of you guys are breaking the bookie. I'm telling you that right now. So it doesn't matter what that poll says. All you guys cannot bet.
This is going to be like Tyson Douglas all over again.
You guys can't bet anyway. You guys don't win any real money. Go ahead, caller. I'm sorry.
Herring might not have knockout power, but from what we saw in Shakur's last fight, he doesn't like getting hit, man. The time he did get hit, he was pawing at his cheek, and it was like a small mark. It wasn't even anything big compared to what Joel Gonzalez had on Friday, and he was just working through that. And then Shakur was just pawing at his little stretch. So I just look at it like that, you know. If Herring could, you know, just get him out of his game, that's his best shot.
Listen.
All right, there you go, man. There you go. We got a guy. Thank you for so much. Hey, what was your name? What was your name again?
You can call me Eddie, bro. Thank
Eddie,
you.
perfect.
This is my first time listening to you guys. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Thank you so much, Eddie.
For sure. Eddie,
call in again, please, Eddie. Thank you.
It was a good call. The smart caller. You know what I mean? He's smart caller.
Right. I mean, he was, you know.
He knew what he was talking about. I mean, he knew what he was. He knew to pick Shakur.
I mean, you were coaching him, but don't worry about it.
He was named after Tupac.
I can't even believe it.
You was quoting Tupac earlier.
50-50 right now. This is a good sign. This is a good sign.
It's a good sign for Stevenson fans. I'll tell you that. Anybody who picks Stevenson, if you go off our poll, that's perfect for you guys. Perfect for you guys. Area code 562, you're live.
A lot of new callers today.
562, you're live. There you go.
Hello?
My bad. You guys hear me?
Yeah, who are we speaking with?
Hello.
Yes.
George.
George.
All right, man. Hey, I just want to say, okay, Mikey Garcia, that was pathetic, man. He's a bum. I've always said he's just up there. He's just viewed as a class fighter because of his brother, you know, and Ali Sekback and all them, making him popular on YouTube. And Bob Arum, you know, you see, as soon as he left Top Rank, and that's what I tell you guys about Top Rank. They got world class matchmakers, you know. And you see how Pacquiao left Top Rank, and then look what happens. He loses in the first DAZN fight because I think DAZN set him up. I think they wanted him to lose to get him out of there, so they don't so he don't whip none of the young guys, you know. But anyways, which one of you guys said Andy Ruiz versus Frank Sanchez is a good fight? Man, you guys hit the nail on the coffin on that one because I've been matching up all these heavyweights in my head, like which one would be a good fight, and I never thought of that one. That one would be I'll pay for that, you know, pay-per-view stuff. But I don't know what you guys think about Mikey Garcia. You think he's you think he was ever a A+ fighter, or it's all just been one big illusion, huh? That's what I think.
I don't know, man. You know, he's had some pretty good wins, but when he's had Adrian Bronner, Robert Easter, those are his two biggest wins, I think. I'll be honest. I think those are probably his two biggest wins that I can think of right off the top of my head. When he stepped up to fight Errol Spence, we all knew he was getting washed.
Adrian Bronner, you know what I mean? And,
yeah, that's true.
Back on Robert Easter,
he was a lot bigger than Easter
really
too. I mean, as far as like he was fighting at the weight longer than Easter was. Put it that way. But when he stepped up against Errol Spence, everybody knew he was going to get washed. I didn't know he was going to get washed like that, where he wasn't winning any rounds. But his inactivity, one fight every 3, he fights once a year, basically 3 fights in 3 years. That ain't going to cut it, man. Not at this level. Not at this level.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man. All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys are a great show, man. Keep it up.
Oh, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right.
520, you're live.
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening? Who we talking to?
You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Mario Figueroa.
Mario.
Órale! Arriba la raza.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Frank Sanchez and Andy are in the same camp, right?
Are they? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, they were both with Eddie.
I'll take your word for it.
They're
Okay.
both in the same camp.
Okay.
Oh, Reynoso. Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Told you can't match them up, Eric. Jesus.
Yeah.
Look at the poll,
Eric.
52-49.
I know. What was I gonna
52-49. Herring's pulling ahead.
This is why Vegas wins all the money. This is why Vegas wins all the money.
You with me on the Herring?
I'm with you, Beeb, on the Herring.
This is why we have intelligent callers like you, man. This is what we need.
There we go.
Look at this. Nice. Herring's pulling ahead 52
right, I got to bounce, man.
All right, man. Thank you so much for calling in, man.
I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so, man, I tell you what, man. And anybody who wants any action on that fight, I will gladly take the pie bets. Anything. I'll if Shakur loses, I'll take 5 pies or whatever. How many people? Nobody's taking that action, though, Beeb. Nobody wants to take a pie in the face. Nobody.
Look at this poll.
Nobody, son.
Poll is starting to really pull ahead for Herring.
Great. That's wonderful.
All I care about
this is why Vegas collects all that money, son.
Vegas sucks.
Vegas collecting all that money, son. All right. Let's talk about the news and rumors here. Ryan Garcia, your boy, B. What's wrong with your boy lately, man? He suffers a hand injury. They didn't say it was a broken. I didn't hear it was a broken hand. They just said hand injury. They were real kind of non-specific on what it was, but he's going to have surgery, I believe, Monday, Monday maybe. But anyway, the Joseph Diaz fight is off. All right, it's off the table. Listen, man, I wouldn't have a big problem with him breaking his hand or whatever he did to his hand. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is him, in the mental health thing. I get it, man. But in between all this, he pulled out of that fight for mental health reasons. Then he wound up on a beach somewhere with his girl 2 days later. Not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And then he's over there calling out Tank Davis, Devin Haney, and anybody else who's the top guy in the division. Like, dude, just fight already. It wouldn't even be bad if you just fought. Just fight already. Just get in the ring already. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out where this kid's head's at. This is another situation of someone, is their heart really in it? Or, are they, people say, is he more concerned about just being an Instagram model, or does he want to be a fighter? I don't know, man. At this
point, I don't know.
I mean, he's young enough where he could turn it all around. So it's not like he's on borrowed time, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, either you want to fight or you don't want to fight. And I'm not doubting the fact that he's a fighter. I get you. He's a fighter and he's got heart and everything like that. But do you want to fight? Just like Mikey Garcia. We know what you got. We know we've seen it before. Do you want to continue to fight? Do you want to do this? I don't know.
Yeah.
Joseph Diaz, though, is back in. Eddie Hearn went on last night, said he would offer Joseph Diaz the same amount of money. I think it's $1.5 million. Is that
1.
right?
1.5, yeah, 1.5.
$1.5 million to fight Devin Haney on that same December 3rd date, or the date in, I guess, December
3rd, yeah.
Do you think Joseph Diaz takes that?
I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping he does, because right? I don't see where else he can go. And
not for that kind of money.
Here's my problem: does Golden Boy have such a grudge against Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn, works with Canelo occasionally now, and do they feel slighted by Eddie Hearn because of that?
Yeah, but they're all on DAZN, right?
I know, but you know how these guys hold grudges and stuff. So, I'm just concerned.
Hey, when was the last Golden Boy card on DAZN?
Trying to remember.
I think it's been a bit, no?
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Isn't Joette? But I think Joette Gonzalez is a Golden Boy fighter, so they kind of had like a co-promotion.
Is he a Golden Boy fighter?
Yeah, he's a Golden Boy fighter, but he was on. I'm sorry, that was ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So like I'm trying to remember when the last Golden Boy card was on DAZN.
I know De La Hoya's been wanting to go to Triller, but I don't know if he wants to go to Triller now.
When was the last time Virgil Ortiz fought? When he fought what's his name there? The Mean Machine, right? He fought Mean Machine.
Yeah. Kavaluskas or whatever?
Kavaluskas, yeah. He fought Kavaluskas, right? So I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Robert's saying Golden Boy's last card was on DAZN in September.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, if he don't know, nobody knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So Dillian White is going to fight Otto Wallin in a couple of weeks. Eddie Hearn has revealed there is a rematch clause for that fight.
Christ.
Why is there a rematch clause for that fight?
Eddie's saying because White has the interim WBC heavyweight title, and when this was his reasoning. Whenever a fighter is a mega star or he's a champion, we always give him a rematch clause. I mean, come on, Eddie, please
stop. Just stop. What I mean, who? You know what I mean? Like, what is the point? Now you're just going to hold up his title shot if he lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just
but Otto Wallin now, Dillian White is actually guaranteed a shot at the title now, right?
Well, that's what they say, but we don't know.
They've been saying that for 5 years now.
Yeah,
but he's the number one contender. Blah blah blah. He's been in it for 5 years. We all heard the story. But if Wallin wins, they're not giving him a shot at Tyson Fury. He's not even in the matchroom camp, is he? Is Wallin in the matchroom camp? I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he is.
Then he ain't getting a shot, son.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna. But Fury's not gonna fight him again. I mean, he already fought him once.
For what? And he washed him the first time. The only exciting part of that fight was that cut. Yeah, and the rest of the fight, he got washed. I mean, it was like 9 rounds.
Yeah, I thought Fury won the fight 9 rounds to 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't that close, man.
I don't think it was a close fight.
No. Montana Love from Ohio, son. Ohio's been on a tear lately, Beeb.
Yeah.
We're the number 2 team in the country, the University of Cincinnati. We should be number 1 because we would wax Georgia. That's neither here nor there. We should be the number 1 team in the nation. We're number 2. I get it. You haven't heard of us. You will, though. And also, too, Montana Love from Ohio signs with Matchroom this week. That's a good move. Montana is a real showman. He can fight. Yeah. That's a good move, and they will match him accordingly. They will give him some really good fights. Really good fights. Some MMA news. Some of you guys might be interested in this. Some maybe not. I don't know. John Jones was kicked out of Jackson Winklejohn's camp after the domestic violence thing that happened in Vegas a couple weeks ago, where apparently he had, I don't know if it's his wife or his fiance or the mother of his kids. It's one of the 3. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sad to hear this.
But his daughter, they went down to the front desk. I guess there was some altercation, and his lady and his daughter went down to the front desk, and his daughter told security to call the police. His daughter did. That's got to be rough, man. So anyway, Jackson Wink said, hey, no more until you get help. No more until you figure this whole thing out.
Yeah.
You know? And I tell you what, man, he's then he came out in a tweet that's, I guess, since been deleted against Jackson Winklejohn. Said some things about him, and then said something to the effect of he supports the people that are around him now because they didn't leave his side, blah, blah, blah. Listen, at some point when you keep losing stuff around you because of things that you're doing, you got to look in the mirror. You got to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe it's me. Can't be all these other people around me that just aren't sticking with me. It's got to be something else too. Yeah, you got to self-reflect. Exactly. All right, let's go to the phone. 612, you're live.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Who are we speaking with?
Yeah, this is Tin. How are you guys?
Good.
First time caller.
Oh, good.
Oh, great. Nice to hear from you, brother.
Nice to hear from you guys. I actually follow you a lot on YouTube, and I also see your collabs with the Boxing Voice. So great job, guys. First of all, thanks for bringing this content.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to say a few points. And a rant on Mikey Garcia. First off, congratulations to Bam Rodriguez, Jonathan Gonzalez, and Savannah Marshall. Outstanding performances from all three yesterday. And Mikey Garcia, Mikey Cheeseburger Garcia, you either be fully committed to flipping houses or boxing, because you can't do both at the same time. Don't keep one leg in McDonald's and the other leg in the boxing ring and come to box. A lot of fans paid a lot of money to invested a lot of money and time to come and support you, and that's the performance you give. There are a lot of he can't give the excuse of not having training, because he has some of the best fighters in RGBA to spar and train with. So that's not an excuse. It was all he allowed Adam Sandler to come and just smash him up. So I hope Mikey learns his lesson. He either retires or gives respect to the sport. That's all I have to say, guys.
All right, man. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for calling in. And don't be a stranger, man. Call back. Call back. Beeb, he's 100% right. He's 100% right. People pay a lot of money. You saw the fireworks show, how much money Matchroom spent to be there, how much money they spent, that fireworks show beforehand, everything like that. It was all geared toward Garcia. And he did. He dumped the bed. He really did. You know, he's right. You gotta at least take it seriously. And this is a guy who didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Why would you, this is your chance to put your best foot forward on TV and everything like that. After being out, hey, I'm the guy to beat Progress. I'm the guy to beat Taylor. I should get these shots. And then you come out here and you lay an egg like that.
It's terrible.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
It's terrible.
There you go. All right. Make sure this week to stay tuned. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of content about Stevenson and Herring. I have a feeling Beeb's going to be all over that fight. I'm sure they're going to be beating the odds of Beeb at some point. And hey, I'll have something to say about it too. I'm sure we'll do shows in I guess during the week or whatever. So that's a big fight, man. That's a big betting fight for me anyway. I think that it's one of those fights that you look forward to. It's not the name brand fight like a Wilder Fury, but it is a really solid fight that we don't know. It's one of those fights that it's interesting because we don't know what's going to happen. We all have our ideas of what's going to happen, but we're anxious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I can't wait. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Ringside73. And we will see you guys next week.